Hello, 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 hello. Boom, 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 boom. I want you in my room. Dun, 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 dun. The chosen one. It's a trope that's been done many times before to varying degrees of success, and some might include Luffy in that category of chosen, quote unquote. He's definitely been chosen by the circumstances of the world around him. He's been in the right place at the right time and just so happened to meet the right people. And there's this whole thing about a guy named Joy Boy who also ate the same devil fruit and wore the same straw hat. Kind of. There's a big hat in a fridge somewhere in Marie Joie that he wore, but it's the same kind of straw hat. And he left these poneglyphs all over the world. And if you don't know what poneglyphs are, they're big cubes with words on them. And in the poneglyphs, he said, "Don't worry, it's chill. I'm gonna be back. BRB, real quick. Hang on." So it seems he's on the path to fulfilling some kind of prophecy. So I think it's fair to consider him chosen in some sense of the word, but it's when people start to minimize him to only that, chosen, that I start to find issue with the sentiment. And even more so when the idea that Luffy's fruit, the Goma Goma no Mi, aka the, spoilers, Human no Mi Maral Nika, was all just a retcon or some sort of cop-out plot armor bullshit, and that the whole reason he got as far as he did was because he had this insane mythical zone fruit. That's just not real. And I'd like to explain why.
They wanna rush in, cause a stampede, no handles flying like a banshee.
Nika, also known as the Sun God, was a really chill guy apparently. He's the go. He'd bring smiles and joy and liberate people wherever he went. And the legends say he was literally just a god. Like he didn't eat a double fruit or anything like that. He was just built different. Whether or not that's true, we don't really know. Maybe he did eat a double fruit. Maybe he came from heaven. Maybe he was an artificially made god. Or maybe he didn't even exist at all. He could very well just be a fictional character that people just made up. I don't know. Point is, he had these insane powers where he could basically do whatever he wanted with his body. Now, zones give the eaters of the fruit the ability to transform into whatever creature the fruit represents. However, unlike Paramecia or Logia, it's been pretty much proven that zones have a sort of will of their own. Almost as if the soul of the creature is actually inside the fruit, which is evident in the fact that when we see inanimate objects get imbued with zone devil fruits, they become sentient beings with wills of their own. Like in the case of Funkfried or Lasso. Look at this dog. This dog, it knows, it is. This dog is. This dog thinks, therefore it is, dog. And so far, this kind of thing is exclusive to Zone Devil Fruits. On top of that, when Zone users transform, they start taking on not just the physical traits of the respective creature, but personality traits as well. For example, Jabra and Lucci get more bloodlusted when they're in their hybrid transformation. Lucci less so because he was already a freak, but Jabra for sure, he was kind of chill before transforming. And Luffy, when he transforms, he gets really silly goofy, as if he's possessed by the will of Joy Boy. Oh. And usually mythical zones come with a sort of extra power that comes along with the ability to transform into the creature. Like how Marco has healing flames and Katarina Devon has shape-shifting powers. And so the question and main argument is the only reason Luffy has this amazing power to bring people together and basically be the main character because of the fact he has a mythical zone devil fruit giving them the traits of Nika? And the answer is no. Fucking no.
They use cheat codes, but we don't cheat though. No cliff notes, homie, we don't need no.
One of the things backing this theory is something Mihawk said at Marineford.
能力や技じゃない。その場にいる者たちを次々に自分の味方につける。この海においてあの男は
Back then, people just took it as, well, yeah, it's Luffy, of course, people follow him, he's him, he's the GOAT. But with the context gained about the true nature of his devil fruit, understandably, people started to raise eyebrows at that statement and think, wait just a sec. Now, this argument would have weight if it wasn't for the fact that zones do not change a person's personality just from having eaten the fruit. Yes, you gain certain properties of the creature, but unless you transform, you're pretty much the same personality-wise. Now, you can make the argument, oh, what about Chopper, though? When he ate the fruit, he went from a reindeer to a person with complex thoughts and emotions. And yes, while that is a very drastic change, if you think about it, his personality was not changed. All he was given was the intelligence to express himself. He's still timid, gentle, and wants nothing more than people to accept him for who he is both before and after he ate the fruit. Same thing with Luffy. His personality before and after eating the fruit is exactly the same. All he was given was the properties of rubber, and the only time his actual personality is affected is when he's in Gear 5th. And even then, he's not really different, he's just kind of stoked on life. Now, if it were really true that this fruit gave Luffy a sort of Nika Sun God charm boost, then why before he even ate the fruit was he already gathering people around him and bringing smiles to their faces? This is Luffy. It's just who he is. He's got natural charisma. The fruit did nothing in that regard. He was always this way. This fruit is not some super overpowered plot device that explains how Luffy got this far. And no, it was not a retcon either. Another large part of the discourse surrounding Luffy's fruit is the fact that a lot of people are firm believers that there's no way Oda thought of this beforehand. And honestly, if you think that, you don't know this man. He's the GOAT for a reason. First off, Luffy got that fruit and did not know what to do with it. Which is weird because you think something as simple as a rubber fruit would be pretty easy to get the hang of. You just stretch, right? When Sabo got a hold of the Flame fruit, immediately he fucking like... And I don't know, surely there's different learning curves for different devil fruits, but Luffy struggled how to throw a punch for years. Years, dog. And what if it's because he was under the impression he was working with a normal, simple Paramecia type fruit that just gave him rubber powers, when in reality, he was working with a mythical zone and was technically trying to perfect a form of hybrid transformation. Think about it. Technically, he's always transforming in a hybrid state whenever he's stretching. Like, this is a normal state, now he's a hybrid. And in this pseudo-hybrid form, he's able to transform, quote-unquote, by stretching both his body and his imagination. And you might be thinking, that seems like a little bit of a stretch. I'm killing myself tonight. This video's going on a dead man switch. But let's look at what else he does with this supposed rubber fruit. Look at Gear 2nd, transformation. At that point, it kind of made sense though, and could still be considered in the realm of possibility for a rubber fruit. Pumping blood through heart faster, make body go burr is, ooh, I go fast now. It makes sense. I feel that. But then you get the Gear 3rd, another transformation, and one that starts to not really make sense and starts to bend the laws of physics. The mass and power he gains from inflating his bones does not make sense, and even Lucci was taken by surprise because it really didn't make sense if Luffy actually just had the Gum Gum fruit. And I myself remember watching that episode and being like, huh? That doesn't make sense. Whatever, anime logic, who cares, right?
But I should have trusted my gut. I was on the precipice of something greater. I just had to dig deeper.
And then you get the Gear 4th, transformation, a drastic one. And during that fight, Doflamingo was also taken by surprise because he had false pretenses of what the Gum Gum fruit really is. If Luffy really was just a rubber man, he was defying the laws of physics. And I mean, like, obviously, right? I feel like a lot of people during that time started to think, hey, is this really a rubber fruit? And just to play devil's advocate a little bit, this was introduced way, way, way deeper into the story. However, this pattern of gears in general was established relatively early in the story, episode 722 to be exact. And so you could make the argument, okay, that's where the retcon started then, at episode 272. But we also have evidence from the very start of the series. It's not something dwelled on, but after Luffy eats the fruit, Lucky Roo goes, well, oh my god, we stole that from an enemy ship. And at the beginning of the story, that doesn't really raise any alarms. It's like, oh, pirate ransacking. Sure, of course, that's normal. But as the story goes on and you learn more about Shanks and his crew, you start to think, why were they looting this random enemy ship for this random devil fruit? Why in a crew full of non-devil fruit eaters were they even looking for fruits in the first place? It's obvious that it was much more than that. And it puts into context why Shanks was so panicked when Luffy ate the fruit, why he was so intent on this bet he made on the new generation, and why he gave Luffy his arm, his wisdom, and his straw hat. It's because he knew he had just set something big into motion. And if you're skeptical, fair, but I'd like to draw your attention to another connection. Shanks used Conqueror's Haki on the Sea King at the very start of the story, and it was only reintroduced in episode 316, more than 40 episodes after Gear 2nd was introduced, and it took another 200 to actually explain what the fuck it was. All this to say, if your logic is there's no way Oda could have set this up this much in advance at the very start of the story, he's got a track record of doing this with his storytelling. So it's very possible, nay, likely, he did have this all planned out in his head. But then that begs the question, why didn't the world government, or the Gorosei specifically, just send an admiral to go get the fruit back right away? And I think there are two reasons. Number one is the Gorosei just got complacent. It's been stated that the fruit just avoids the Marines somehow. They just can't get their hands on it. So instead of just trying to directly gain possession and lock this thing down, they chose to subdue it. And the way they did that was via disinformation. They just called it the rubber fruit and were like, okay, people aren't going to be able to use this thing right. And it's a stroke of genius, honestly, because it's not that far from the truth while also hindering the potential of what the fruit can actually do. Because the fruit is very based on the user's imagination, limiting that imagination to just rubber makes it ass. And on top of that, they erased 100 years of history. And it's almost certain that in that 100 years, there was information on what the double fruit actually was. But now it's erased, so they don't have to worry about it. And for 900 years, that was pretty much the case. They didn't have to worry about it. Nobody who got the fruit ever unlocked its full potential. Until a fucking dumbass got it. And also, the Gorosei were kind of right. The only reason Luffy's crew survived was because of Kuma, the goat. My fucking goat. They sent one of their strongest warlords to go take care of Luffy, but that warlord was Kuma, and Kuma is kind of fucking based. And when he came there to do the job, he saw how Sanji and Zoro were both ready to die for this man. And so he thought, okay, this guy seems pretty legit. I'll cut you a deal. If you get through this, I'll let you all live. And then later on, when they were on Sabagata, he straight up saved their lives by sending them all off to their respective training arcs. Because if they had not taken those 2 years to train, I am confident they would have all died in the New World. So the Gorosei were right. If it weren't for Kuma's interference, Luffy would have died. He would have died before even getting close to awakening that fruit. So to me, their complacency kind of makes sense. And reason number 2, I believe Shanks had a part to play in why they didn't go after him. And maybe not even in like a direct way. He could have just been an unspoken sponsor because Luffy had his straw hat. And at that point, Shanks was already established as a Yonko. So starting trouble with Luffy would mean starting trouble with Shanks. And they didn't really want that. But yeah, that's the retcon section of the video. I don't really have a clean segue. So I mean, just
Take the high road. I'm trying to fly though. Wanna touch the sky, but still lie low.
And now we come to the end of this argument. Some people might say that even if what I've said is all true, and even if it wasn't retcon or plot armor and it was actually planned out from the start, it still devalues the idea of what we thought was a young kid with a subpar fruit taking on the world to attain his dreams and become Pirate King. But that's the thing. It is a subpar fruit. It's only really powerful once awakened, and even then it is completely dependent on the user's tenacity, determination, and creativity to make it work. And Luffy has that, because he was not just chosen. That fruit had evaded the Marines time and time again, surely being in by other people during that time too, but to no avail. No awakening, nothing. It was such a non-issue to the world government that even when he was gaining notoriety, they just brushed it off as another nobody who just ate the fruit and was gonna die before ever awakening again, because that's not all it takes to be chosen. In a way, the fruit was really the one waiting to be chosen by someone worthy, and that's what Luffy did. He chose it. I mean, accidentally or not, but he fucking did. He ate it. He is the one who bit into that fruit. He is the one who chose to set out to become Pirate King. He is the one who kept going time and time again when the going got rough and the rough got going, dog. And he is the one with the charisma so magnetic it endeared to Yonko's crew that just so happened to be toting a mythical zone in the first place. You could argue right place, right time, but you could also argue luck is a skill. There's only a certain few people that can take advantage of that luck, and Luffy's one of them. Nika's will is not affecting Luffy. Luffy is not who he is because of any stupid fruit. He's him because he's literally him, bro. He is everything the legends say about Joy Boy without even knowing the dude existed, because that's simply who he is. I mean, really think about it. Throughout the entire story, this man has been freeing everyone he comes across while spreading joy and bringing smiles to people's faces. He's not doing all this stuff because he's possessed by Nika's will. He's possessed by his own will, aka he has a will of his own. He freed Kobe because he's Luffy. He freed Zoro because he's Luffy. He helped Nami because he's Luffy. He helped Chopper because he's Luffy. He freed Alabasta because he's Luffy. Took on the government because he's Luffy. He helped Brook because he's Luffy. And the Celestial Dragon because he's Luffy. I mean, for God's sakes, this is the man who broke into Impel Down, came out with an army, then led charge through Marineford, also he could free his brothers so he could have the freedom to choose to fight and die with a smile on his fucking face. This is Monkey D. Luffy, bringer of liberation, herald of freedom, and the new Sun God! Oh man, my throat's gonna hurt after that one. Hi, thanks for watching. This video is basically me arguing with myself because I don't even know how many people have this opinion of the fruit, but I've seen it around, so I just wanted to make a video for the record. Yeah, sorry for no uploads. Also, by the way, I was a lot. It's like my brain is so fucked. I went on a trip in around August, and then I was like, okay, when I come back, I'll get back on my grind. Maybe I'll do more until then. But then I was like, no. And so I didn't for like a month. And then my entire PC imploded. And so I lost like a bunch of shit. And now this is future me recording this part again because it's been like fucking 5 months. And bro, me saying August, that was no, it was not this August of this year, it was last August, bro. Anyway, thanks for watching. And oh yeah, I'm gonna make some more videos. Surely next time you'll see me next month. Hold me to that. Next month at least there will be a new video. All right. Bye. Adios. Ciao. Sayonara.